Right, tonight I have to write my schedule, and that has to be what I focus on, with or without a laptop. I can do it on Google Calendar. I can sit and try to start spacing it out. So there's a big spiritual thing about teeth and abscesses and things like that. And it's to do with being completely out of your own personal schedule, and also whether you've got the confidence to go to that next level. And I'm very aware of my own body over 43 years. Hey there, Claire. I'm not being aggy at anybody when I'm talking about, you know, people just genuinely caring and wanting me to do stuff. It's understanding the trauma as well. Because when I was 17, hang on, I remember where I was when I was at home. So I was working for Taylor Plan as a cleaner. I was at college, so I would have been about 17, and I had my wisdom teeth taken out. And that's why my jaw's fucked. And both doctors and dentists and stuff are not very good when it comes to hypermobility EDS people. They just think that we're flexible. They just think that, you know, we're one of these people that can just, you know, do all this stuff. And hey, how fucking cool is it to be, you know, totally flexible? But they don't understand, you know, I'm a dancer, but I'm a dancer that gets injured. I'm a skater, I'm a performer. It's who I am and what I do. But when you're a mum, and this is the difficulties, mums sacrifice everything that they are, because you're thrown into the school calendar, you're thrown into trying to do things at weekends, you're thrown into the budget that you are. And the thing is, you're not being who you truly are. And this is the big battle with the courts and everybody. Will Kelly, and what you've got to remember is the last statement it says to take Aaron and Faith is that I would palm my children off to the services to meet my own needs. Let's discuss what is, Now, the good thing about this is yesterday, all this was so painful. I was trying to eat yesterday and couldn't even put my mouth together. And today, it's not painful. It's just like a numb nutted. I feel like somebody's just numbed all this side of it at the moment. So yes, I do worry about clotting for somebody like me. Yes, I am going into the dentist where the boys are. I'm going to go up there tomorrow. I've no petrol at the moment, and I'm still overdrawn until the 18th. And at the end of the day, my budget exists for keeping the roof above my house and normal things. It doesn't exist for the companies and charities and things that I do. I have to keep even to buy a car. Like, seriously, just to buy a car was a fucking nightmare. You don't think on benefits and universal credits you can afford a car, do you? So obviously I'm still paying like £192 for my car insurance. But this is, again, all about going to court. It is all about getting this paperwork right, because if I go to A&E, I'm facing my paperwork. If I go to the doctors, I'm facing my paperwork. If I put my boys into school, I'm facing the paperwork. And none of this paperwork represents me. It just represents what they want. And even the court paperwork isn't on my medical notes. So even though they put that psychological report on me, it's not like they then wrote to my GP and said, this is what we found, can you work with Kelly and refer her to? And that's what they should be doing. And they're not, because it's an excuse, as we know. It's I don't know if anyone can see. I'll take my hat off a minute. So I don't know if you can see all the side of my face down here. And all in here. And then what you've got to remember is this is very same day 9 years ago that I'd gone out and brought some new boots actually for winter, and they were a little bit too high for the back of my back. And I was like, oh shit, I've just spent like, you know, I think they were like £70, £50 in the sale for some really lovely winter boots. And I was really like, yeah. And I'd sort of gone all womany, and like, if they were lovely. They were just knee-high boots, brown, but they had a little bit more of a hill than I could take. And where I was at Save the Family, we were going over gravel. And of course, I was trying to get all my stuff from storage and trying to get people to understand that the van to go and get my storage only had 3 seats. So that meant that I had like Aaron and Faith in their car seats to go in the van, and I had Liam who would go in the back. But because I was using one of the Save the Family vans, they said I couldn't do that. And I wasn't in a way that I could afford to go and hire my own van, because I had actually been evicted, kicked off everything, and I was back to square one when I was at Save the Family. And as you know, I got there on the 1st of October 2012, and literally I was just trying to explain to them that, look, I haven't got anybody around. My auntie's available. They were saying she needs 24 hours to come on site, and I'm going, but hang on a minute, what if it's, you know, she's part of my training, living in a flat as well. You don't want to hear bang, 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 bang. We flooded, you know, yesterday, got absolutely soaking wet, came home, lovely warm bath for us. The boys flooded downstairs again, so we had workmen here all last night, which is great and brilliant that I'm not going to have to replace and fix their roof downstairs. But it's like, this is a complete mismanagement for someone like me. When you're out of line with who you are, your body will decay and disease in every way. And the teeth is one that tells you straight away that you're not on your own personal schedule and routine. And the faster your teeth decay, the further you are away from your own life. My lower back is usually when I've set a goal so great, and then my lower back goes when I don't feel supported, and my hips go when I feel too scared to take the first step. So I'm very aware in how my body manifests in my own emotions and things like that. Yes, at the end of the day, this is a damaged tooth, but the tooth is not hurting. It is if I touch it. It's not actually as hurting as yesterday. So it's all going to come out in here. So now I need to drain all of this out, drinking lots of water, plenty of water, flushing. Now again, we've got tap water, so I need good water because I'm only putting shit back in my body with the water, and my body will want to kick out the toxins that's in that body. The body is so fucking clever. It's like, even when you're talking about a cough and a sneeze, that's the good thing. That's your body kicking out whatever it is. So when you sneeze, achoo, that's your body getting rid of it. Hence why they say it goes into a certain thing. That's anything. It doesn't matter what virus it is. A virus for a and a spreads, yeah? It's like, think of nits, yeah? So say if I had head lice right now, I would put my hair up, probably put it underneath my hat, and I would make sure that my hair was not able to swing over anybody, yeah? And that's exactly the same. So if you sit next to somebody in a class and you've got all your hair down and you've got nits, then yes, that hair touching that hair will then pass the nits across, and it's like that. So it's not that I am being all like, one, I don't want to go to A&E because I don't want to take the boys into a situation full of people coughing and spluttering and all of that, because people like us pick up things quite quickly, and that's because our immune system is down. Every single one of us needs to be balanced on our vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is what brings the minerals from what we eat into our body. And if we don't get those minerals back in, then our body decays and our teeth decay. Now, for me, I know full well what I've been trying to do my entire life is write my own schedule. And that means I aim to be up at sunrise, to do my photographs, to do my stuff. Now, when you've got a mum, you need to know that children at home with dad in the bed, or older brothers and sisters, or their au pair, or whatever it is, so you can focus on yourself. If mums don't focus on ourselves, nothing's right. Do you know that? When mum's down, doesn't matter whether it's depression, that's a lack of minerals too. It doesn't matter if you're having anxiety because you don't want to do stuff, that is also a lack of minerals. Our body is so damn fucking clever. It is. It's a self-healing. We get a whole new body every 7 years. Do you know that? Our bodies are not the same every 7 years because of the amount of skin that we shed off. We shed so much skin. You wouldn't have a clue like how much skin goes on around. Our hair falls out. Our body changes over. We can literally, and this is what I started with Professor Bird, that I could completely remove the EDS by not talking about it. By not having people talking about my challenges, by me having people around who would understand, like even at the moment now, my neck's going up in the head here, and that I had to focus on management and be consistent with my training. I have an issue with yoga because it causes for the kundalini to go the other way. You've got to remember that we're in a spiritual world. We're not against flesh and blood. We're in powers and principalities. So, or the other way around. So that spiritual positive, negative happens every day. Everything that we're doing, positive, negative, positive, negative. Look at me yesterday, ratty, waking up with fucking toothache. You know, fucking waking up to amber shit. Rah, 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 and then I get, and I get pissed down and pucked up with Wayne. And even everything didn't go right yesterday. I was trying to see if I could exchange social media for certain foods because I have food. So please don't think that I don't have food. I have food. I just don't have foods that my boys eat. Yeah. They don't eat pasta. They will refuse it. They've just had noodles now. I'm literally trying to see what the boys will eat. But yesterday, it was like I'd asked look, so it's not that I don't have things in, yeah? I'd rather make a lot of it myself, but I just don't have that space. But I am down on things like, oh, we're even going down on fucking cereals now as well. You know, so I do, but we're literally trying to get all the milk out from us. But when it comes to things that my boys eat, like as you've been known, I've been trying to do it with the pizzas that they eat. Elijah's so funny. He wants the Asda cheese sandwich. He likes the particular pizza. So yesterday was a really tough day because it was like I had to go up to Spoons to sort some stuff. So having to smell all that food, knowing full well that I don't have 20 quid to put down, and having to leave after sorting it, and knowing full well that everyone's having a lovely time while we're freaking fucking broke. Knowing full well that all the homeless are going to be looked after by the dentists this month, and they've got all the homeless being able to get all of their teeth, but there's me still in the crack. It's no different than when I was at university and they made the lectures on a Wednesday afternoon. And for anybody who goes to university, you'll know that Wednesdays are protected for sports societies, yeah? So that's in line with obviously the Olympics and everything like that. So I petitioned to stop them doing it. But it worked out so much easier for me because I think my kids must have had something on that day. So I was like, look, it suits me. I'm not part of your sports and societies, but I am an athlete. It's who I am. When I was at school, I played netball. I played football. I was on the athletics team. I swam. It was just my body that kept saying no to things. It was my body that would drop things back. It was my body when I was catching a ball in netball. It was my body and everyone going, oof. I was stamping down and I was doing my ankle. I was cupping in and I was popping my shoulders. So my body's going to decay anyway. I'm going to die quicker than most of you anyway. Just accept it that one day it's going to come up. Even something like this could get me. So it is going to come up that Kelly's having her funeral. But it doesn't matter whether or not we've got 20 billion pounds in our bank or 20 billion pounds in debt. The moment we go in that coffin, we're all equal. It doesn't matter if we're white. It doesn't matter if we're black. It doesn't matter what lifestyle we had in. The moment that hole is dug or it's going to be prepared for cremation, you can't take any of it with you. Not even your memories. Your soul will remember so much, but it will be the lessons and the feelings. It won't hold on to visual, memories in the way. It will just reset and start again. So I know full well that the moment I sit in, I try to do it every Sunday night. So for me, Monday morning motivation, getting up, nailing my Monday morning motivation and getting in. But I can't be banging around here. The whole reason that I uprooted from where I was to Southsea was because we wanted to be by the sea. So I could run and train on the beach. This is all the things that I like to do, the environment that I'm in, the sort of people that I have around me. And then when you're so out of that, so with everything that's going on, don't forget we've got Josie still out there. I believe that she is 4 months pregnant to the guy that she's been on the streets with. So I can't get involved at this particular point because it's too much within my own personal life. But I am here. I believe she's working within the services and has been told, you won't keep the kid if you speak to Kelly. So I'm just going to leave it. And she'll either turn up to me when she's not get the kid, or she'll turn up with me to say, look, I've got my kid. So I believe that she will work with them very differently because she's from the streets this time. But will they put her through the same systems? Yes, they will. They will put her through the same things. Will she be slightly older to be able to be in an environment with lots of people that she doesn't like and doesn't know, and how she'll treat that? Yes, probably. Me, I could go to A&E right now on a Sunday night. It'd be a fucking nightmare. I've got no petrol, so I'd have to walk. And then the thing is, could you imagine if I did that and I found myself in exactly the same situation as I was 9 years ago? And could you imagine that I could never forgive myself by going to A&E? But Kelly, you went to A&E. Well, the moment you go to A&E, they ask you if you've got any provisions for the children. You've either got to say, yes, somebody's on their way and they're going to be here immediately. But what if mum is completely down? You know, what if mum is on her way to a school run, gets hit by a fucking car, the kids are at school, who do you think this system calls? It calls in social care. And this is what's always been the issue and problem for me. When I was raising Liam and Daniel, it was different. I ended up in hospital having my wires done. Graham even brought the boys in to come and see me. And even though he was my ex-husband, he still brought me a bottle of Lucozade and a load of grapes and my magazines. He just said they were from the kids. Yeah, they're from the kids. And you know, if I was going to be late for school pickups or anything like that, I could ring Graham. And even if Graham was out, he could ring his wife and she would pick him up, or he would ring his mum and they would pick the boys up, you know. So, and when I was at university, I was, you know, it was my son's football club that helped me. You know, I was able to drop the boys off at the football club because I wouldn't, the kids would break up because they were a Catholic school, different to the other schools, and my university schedule was different to a Catholic school. So I had this week overload where school holidays would come in and I'd be taking my exams. So I was reliant on Cara, who is Graham's wife, who my ex-husband's wife. And if it wasn't for Cara sort of saying, look, I've got some free time, I'll take the boys down to the play zone while you get some study done. And if it wasn't for my son's football club, you know, being able to drop them off there and they would make all the bandages and do a bit of extra training while, you know, I was here. My boys have never told me that anybody has ever done anything to them. And I believe my boys would have told me. So as far as I'm aware, nothing like that has ever gone on with my two older boys. Aaron and Faith, obviously, things were really different because Stephen just wasn't there. He was like, oh, they're not my kids, they're this, they're that. You know, I had a lot of issues with Stephen, as you know. My face has looked like this from fists. Stephen came in one day and I had lumps on the back of my hand that probably came up to where my top lip is, because I literally had my hands over the back of my head as he was pounding into the back of my head. But I hadn't seen Stephen for 3 years when it came to going to Save the Family, and it was all about paperwork. So I've gone to Save the Family as a woman who has got social on her back going, but you're homeless, and I'm going, but hang on a minute, we're off and we're doing this in a very different way for what you all now know to be remote working. So I was just basically a freelance remote worker, and that's what I did. I would go into places that were destitute and broken and be able to turn things around. That's what I am, an interventionist. I can go into any situation and turn that family around as long as you can put the right people into place, because you can't expect one person to do everything. Say all of a sudden I got a managed move, yeah? So one person would be expected to go across, take the boys across, go and get all of the boxes, bring them back, pack up the house, get it down, carry the fridge, carry the sofa, carry the cooker, carry the things. It's physically impossible. And then you get people going, can you not do anything on your own? And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Some of this should be substandard. You know, like even this situation, you know, my towel's down on the floor. This will all get picked up in a minute. But, you know, if my boys were in a bath, they would be able to play with their boats in the bath, and we wouldn't have this situation where we're flooding, because it's about looking at your fundamentals and foundations. I know my neck is starting to go. I'm a bit worried that I am actually going to be ending up in A&E this month. And the irony is, whenever I've gone under gas and air, I have this thing that goes on, right? So when I'm high in pain and I've got the gas and air on, doesn't matter if I'm in labour or it doesn't matter if it's my neck that's gone. It's usually when my neck goes, this happens. So as soon as I go on the gas and air, I start seeing myself sitting on a commode and all the nurses and everything holding loads of paperwork, and all of a sudden the paperwork goes whoomph in the air like that, and across the top of it on the front of a Christmas card, when you've got me sitting looking like a Christmas card, it just goes privatization. Yeah. And I've had this vision going on for a very, very, very long time. Of course, the reason that we are not getting into these systems is because they are going to privatize it. But should we have to suffer to the level that we are while they're doing this? Should we have to pay for certain things? In other countries, they'll say, well, they have insurance. So someone like me would have health insurance, and I'd be able to go down to the A&E and show my health insurance card, and they will treat me to a certain level, depending on what health insurance you have. If I go to a normal dentist, you remember the good old horrible silver fillings? I still have. They've all fallen out my mouth, actually. That's actually what's happening at the moment. Old fillings have started to come away. Elijah, does not want them to put this fluoride on his teeth. That's not him. That's not me educating him. That is coming true from him. Same as if I want to drink a glass of water. It's tap water. I put it on red so you can see clear through. That's tap water. That's not good water. I need filter. That's not good water. So anyway, tonight I'm going to sit down and start writing again from my most ideal day. And when I worked with Jarrett Robbins on this, it was brilliant. But it can cause you to go into a dissonance between your reality and your not. But it's only in changing this reality that I know that I can pull through. See, my neck's going again. My neck wants to really fucking explode as I'm doing this. Most people don't understand how they manifest energy in their bodies, or even the resistance that we have. It's all well and good for people to go, Kelly, ring 111, do. Now, if it was my boys, it's different. I make sure it's on the system, because otherwise they'll turn around and go, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. And yes, we need better care for what's going on. And we're going into podiatry again as after the new year, and dentists and all these different people. And I can't cope with it. I can't. I don't know these people from Adam. They're just people. They're not in my life. I appreciate them and I value that they've done what they've done. But I need personalisation. I need, not privatisation, personalisation. I want to know my GP. I want to literally be able to know my general practitioner, who I can go, oh, God, I can ring him up now and go, look, I've had toothache and I've done this. And he'll go, I'll tell you what, then I'll ring Sam and, yeah, it's fine. I want my own. And a lot of people go, oh, who the fuck does she think she is? I guarantee you there are fucking royals and that don't just deal with any nurses and doctors. Boris Johnson would have gone to the hospital just for a show. But I guarantee you he's got his own personal fucking medical people. But yes, you've got to be able to deal with strangers. This is the thing, isn't it? So anyway, I'm out of ibuprofen. I'm out of paracetamol now. I'm out of coconut oil. And I've got to basically start from basics again. But that's good, because I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting with the education and understanding that I have, the grounding that I have, and working from where I am. But again, it comes down to this cleaning out. I haven't finished the boys' toys. We did get quite far, and obviously it's Sunday and we've been at home. But it's been really difficult for me to go up and down with this. Look, up and down, even with my neck, up and down, up and down. And there are different ways to make things easier for us. And that's what PIP's about. But again, it's a one-size-fits-all. But it does make it easier, because that money then is for... I actually got 14 and a half hours indicative budget to make sure that we were stabilised morning and evening. And it didn't matter if I go down, because this is the problem with mums. We have to carry on when it fucking hurts, mate. And it's not often that we can really ever, especially with young children, ever really just properly rest. And even if, say, you get COVID, that's about the only time they've actually been speaking about people not infecting other people and taking out some time. So anyway, I'm past my sort of ET day as well. My mum's living her life. I'm loving seeing my mum's social media. She's out there jumping in waters and things like that. But, you know, my mum's already told me that she knows that it will be soon, you know. So with this network of people, I mean, the expectancy is like 60. So, I mean, by 35, a lot of us have already gone in this network. A lot of kids die. So, you know, it depends whether you've got vascular or not, or how much it affects your internal organs. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about with EDS. But of course, you know, a lot of EDSers that go on to do gymnastics and things like that, it's whether they've had the right nutrition. And it's all about your nutrition. And that's what I've got to get in. But yes, I am practical. Going to go down tomorrow and say, look, the boys are not going in the chair. So what about you treat me with the boys watching? But then if they have to put me to sleep for anything, because to remove a tooth, they remove this. I bleed more than most people. And nobody would want two boys around that. But they have to see this. So everyone can go, oh, I'll put them into school. So then you've just defeated the whole object that all that would do is pull me into the same battles again. Of dropping my kids off at school, going to the gym, doing what I've got to do, picking up some food, coming home, picking up my kids, running my kids off to clubs and societies that I can afford sometimes and afford not times. And, you know, it's just not worth me going down that road when really now I just need to pull in the people around that, one, for an emergency. Because like even Dean now, I've gone Dean, like even in an emergency, you can, if I went to the hospital now and I said, look, they're getting social workers, because if you walk out, they can detain you. Even my mum has left and had police at her door because of her head, just to make sure she's okay, because the police are not just there for criminal, they are there for vulnerable adults to protect them as well. So, anyway, the back of my head is fucking killing me. I'm going to just keep focusing on writing this timetable from the ideal to exactly what it is I need. And Shiloh, I believe, and Elijah need this as well. And it's not a timetable that the school would write, because we can do more PE activities, do you know what I mean? Instead of just rushing around and trying to do it all in the evening. But why is it? This is what I'm trying to go to court for, or what I'm going to court for, because I want the judge to make my schedule and routine, particularly for my children and health, law for us. And that means that if anybody is looking after me, my kids or anything, that's the way it has to be. And it stops new people coming into my life and rocking my schedule as well. And that's very difficult for someone like me, because I can give up all of that to support somebody, where I have to be able to go, look, these are the days and times that I can do that. I know it's not always inconvenient. Some people need you now. But sometimes it's just having to say, no, I don't have the time. You know, people were giving me shit the other day about Alan, and it's like, look, none of you pay my wages, mate. None of you people pay my childcare. So I really wouldn't even start putting pressure on me, because, you know, I'm not employed by any of them. It feels like an absolute numb thing. I'm just pissed off because tomorrow is the anniversary and I know I'm going to be grumpy about it already. I'm not going to be at the light thing, which I know would have made a massive big difference to me. It's the Northern Lights thing this week and all the lights in London, and I really wanted to be there tonight. I was meant to make sure I was in London today. But I don't know what Dean's doing. I'm not kitted out properly with the boys, just within terms of the weather. I haven't got their snow boots yet. I haven't got their snow outfits yet. And even them are feeling it in the cold. So it's just not worth putting ourselves through. I could have gone today. But again, it's about the boys, isn't it? It's about having people around you who go, hey, you know that Kelly who's a mum? Did you know that she's a person as well? And it's not about being, I know a lot of people go, more than a mum. Well, it's not about being more than a mum, because I love being a mum, and being a mum is who I am. But at the end of the day, being a mum isn't just about packing up your kids' boxes, taking them and being a taxi, cleaning up the bedrooms after them, cooking for them and cleaning the house. In fact, your kids need to see you succeed. That's how they learn. They need to see you drawing and ripping it up and thinking it's wrong and then presenting it. They need to see us working through things. They even need to see us arguing with their father and resolving it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like kids are put into such this thing that causes so much confusion because they hear it anyway. And it's like, you know, anyway, I am so glad that these two boys have not been separated and put into individual classes, because the relationship that is forming between these two is wonderful to watch. I've had to watch them go through, I don't love you, go, to get him away from me, to Shiloh, I love you. And I think the most important thing is that these two boys grow up knowing that they're in the world together, and they'll have their different identities, they'll have their different circles, but at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is if one of the brothers needs them, the other one needs them. You know, Liam and Daniel just didn't have that because they were thrown into different classes, different school ages, and you know, after all of this, they just didn't have that brotherhood. Yes, they're half-brothers and it's slightly different, but you want to go out for a bit? You want to go out for a bit of a walk? But I don't know what time it is, but yeah, should we go and get some fresh air and get out for a bit? See how we feel? All right, these want to go for a bit of a walk. This is where I could do with having a dog. Don't keep bending down. Oh, I know. What do you do if you pass out and you've got your kids in the house? Now, when I lived in Preston, I had a lifeline. This is what I mean about the services being so fucking shit. This is evident of how shit they really are, because there's solutions for everything. They just don't want to do it. I don't think it is. So anyway, what a failed bloody personal-centred plan, because all of this stuff should already be prepared. I should literally now be able to just ring my doctor, even out of hours, and then signpost me to the right person, and not have to deal with all these strangers that don't understand my trauma, because it will be one of them that ends up on the of me when it's not their fault or mine. You can't do that to somebody with trauma. I have trauma. I work on it every day. But they caused it by taking my children. And that anniversary is tomorrow.